Good afternoon. I hope you're doing fine. I'm over here waiting for somebody, so I figure, make good use of our time. So I was thinking about retirement. Like a lot of people, I see a lot of people struggling about retirement, when they should retire, should they retire, how much do they need, and all these things. And I can't tell you when you should retire. I don't know your situation. I don't know if you want to retire, because I know people who don't want to retire. But I think about it, and I believe that the biggest issue that people have is how much money they have. Will they be able to survive? Will they be able to make it if they retire on whatever they have, because of what they need? But what you need is all based on the lifestyle that you've become accustomed to, that you've built. If you've lived in opulence your whole life, then you're used to having, the best cars, and you're used to going out to eat every night, and you're used to having a big house and a lawn and yard and the things that people with a lot of money, have. So you want to continue in that lifestyle. And unfortunately, we need a lot of money to be able to do that. And I think that if we have that mindset that that's how we want to live, that we're always going to be trying to save enough to retire. And, I don't want to go too deep into that, because like I said, it's your own, personal assessment of what you need, how much you have, and what you want to do. At the end of the day, is what you want to do. I know some people who've retired in the last year or two. Some of them are really struggling, and I'm not talking about struggling financially. They're okay financially. They're struggling mentally, because it's a huge adjustment from going to working, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, working a job, to having a routine, to all of a sudden just put on the brakes. Okay, now you have, because in the past you were working, and during the weekends or at night, you had your activities, you had your hobbies, you had whatever you would like to do or you had to do. But now you have your whole time. You have all day long to do what you had to do before in an hour, 2 hours, or on the weekends. So I see a lot of people struggling with that. They feel lost. They feel like they don't belong. Like they're losing the they're losing self identity. And I see some people struggling with that, and it's sad to see that. Do I find myself sometimes thinking, oh, what am I going to do today? It's like I have, all day off, because, I'm retired. So and there are days where I don't do much, but most of the days I keep myself busy doing things. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I'm talking about is that simplify yourself, simplify your living, simplify the things that you need. And I still do have more things that I don't want to have. I have them, but I want to try to get to a simpler place where I have less. And it's going to be a struggle, and I won't go into the reasons why it's a struggle. But you need to just say, okay, I'm not going to want all this. I'm not going to need all this, because you see people, especially here in the United States, how many people have storage? They rent storage spaces to put garbage that they, stuff that they don't use, stuff that just they've accumulated, all that money and all the time and resources they put into that. And I see people who have habits, and I'm not knocking anybody. If you have a habit, that's between you and the Lord, between you and yourself, to try to, work it out. And this morning I'm driving by a store, and I see the prices of cigarettes. I don't smoke, so I don't know. I remember when I came to this country from Cuba, a pack of cigarettes was I think 35 cents or something like that, back in the early 70s. And I think I saw $11. I'm like, $11 for a pack of cigarettes. And I know people who smoke a pack, some people who smoke 2 packs a day. Now you multiply that for the whole year, how much money? So if you give that vice up, not only you're gonna make yourself healthier, but now you're saving money, and you don't need that money for when you retire. You don't have to budget. I need, $2,000 this year for cigarettes, which is crazy. So you don't have to do those things. So you cut out the things that you really don't need, especially the things that aren't good for you, and you simplify it. You simplify how you live, and you won't need a lot. And people have fear that they won't be able to survive, that they don't have enough. And the mental aspect, like I mentioned, is one thing, but then the financial aspect is another thing. And I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I have a relationship with the Lord. I believe in God. I trust in God with all my heart for everything. And when people are scared to do something, it's because they don't have a relationship with the Lord. Or if they do have a relationship with the Lord, they really don't trust him. And people say, yeah, I trust him. But no, you don't trust him, because you have to trust the Lord in, for, and through everything. and just surrender to him and let him lead you, guide you, and he'll provide. I want to share a quick scripture on that. And then if you go to the book of Luke, the Gospel of Luke in chapter 9, and in verse 3, and it says, this is when Jesus is talking to his disciples. He's sending them out to do, to go out and disciple and minister. Okay, he's sending them out to heal. He's sending them out to do a lot of things. And he's sending them out to do all these things. You think he would give them, all the provisions that they need, physically at that time. And he says, take nothing for the road, he told them. No walking stick, no traveling bag, no bread, no money, and don't take an extra shirt. Whatever house you enter, stay there and leave leave from there. So he just goes on basically to say that whatever you do, if you go, you're going to be provided. And the Lord will provide. And I'm not saying be foolish and just do things that you shouldn't do, but be wise and know the things that you want, the things that you need. And if you simplify yourself, you'll find yourself being happier, more content, and you'll start experiencing a joy that, that only the Lord can bring you. And the reason I say that, what led me to this is I was thinking about something that happened to me, and I'll end with this. I was thinking about something that happened to me recently, and I shared it with a family member, and the family member just, I guess, laughed at me and mocked me, kind of in a way, in their own way. But anyway, so I'm going to, my church has, every year they do a church camp. They go away for a whole week. And last year I went just for a day. This year I'm going to go for a couple of days. I'm not going for the whole week. It's a family thing, family oriented. I just want to go for a couple of days, experience, being time together with my brothers and sisters from my church, and then come home and experience, the 4th of July with my family. There's a price to pay. Like, people have to pay to go, and then, you pay based on the amount of days you go. So I'm going to stay 2 nights. So I went and I told them, listen, I'm going to go and I'm going to stay 2 nights. Let me know how much I owe you. The next weekend, one of the brothers in the church, who's, I think, I don't know what his title is, what his position is. One of the brothers in the church comes up to me and he gives me an envelope. He goes, hey, Brother George, I've been meaning to give you this for weeks. And it was a gift. And I don't want to get into details as to what the gift was for. And I'm grateful, and I thank God that they gave me the gift. And it was a gift. And when I opened the envelope, I couldn't help but think, God, you're amazing. God, you are amazing. The gift is exactly the amount that's going to cost me for the days that I'm going to be in church, in the camp. So I said, I'm just taking it. The church gives it to me, and I give it right back to the church. The Lord gives to you. Give right back to the Lord. Give right back whatever he gives you, okay? He gives you blessings. Bless him. He gives you provision. Provide for him. Not that he needs your provision, but he needs your obedience. So, and people are going to mock you and say, well, I can't believe you related to it. And to me, that's how it was. That's how God works. And it's the same thing with the disciples. He sent them out. He's basically telling them, don't take anything. Whatever you need, it will be provided for you. Whatever you need, if you choose to retire wisely, and I'm not telling you need to or you have to or what age or how much money you need, wisely, whatever you need, if you have a relationship with the Lord, if you have Jesus Christ in your life, he will provide. He will provide. God bless you, my friends.